Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to Note to Self. Today, I want to talk to the part of you that's waiting for the green light, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to tell you, yes, you're allowed, yes, you're ready, yes, you can do this. What if I told you you don't need permission? You need vision. We've often been trained or programmed to think we need someone else to validate our dreams before we can act on them. But the truth is, no one can see your vision the way that you can. It was given to you for a reason. It is on your heart because you are the one meant to walk it out. So let's dive in, because your life won't shift when someone else says yes. It'll shift the moment that you do. So let's start with the trap that so many of us fall into. And this is what I call the permission trap. It's that place where we keep our dreams in a mental waiting room until someone calls us forward. This trap is built on invisible walls that contain fears of judgment, past programming that told us to stay small, or seeking approval from parents, mentors, peers, or even strangers online. But here's the thing. Waiting for permission is like standing at a locked door, holding the key the whole time and convincing yourself someone else needs to turn it for you. It's wild when you think about it like that, right? Psychologists actually have a term for this, and it's called external locus of control. It means that we believe our fate is determined by things outside of us, other people's choices, luck, or timing. But empowered people, they operate from an internal locus of control. They believe they are the ones shaping their life. And it all starts with a clear vision. So let's flip the switch, because what you actually need isn't more permission. You need vision. Vision is a seed planted in your heart, one that only you can water. And there's a proverb that I love that is, where there is no vision, the people perish. And this reminds me of a specific IPEC, Institute of Professional Excellence quote, which is, you're either living or you're dying. And it sounds a little bit morbid, but when we are living our lives, consciously choosing our lives, it ignites such a sense of purpose within us that we truly feel like we are growing. Right? You're either growing or dying. You're either living or dying. If you're not answering to that call in your heart, you might notice that your energy could be dwindling, or it could feel like it's decreasing. Your passions and fulfillment in life and your satisfaction overall could be feeling a little low. So let's talk about vision here. Without vision, we drift, we doubt, we default to the lives that others expect us to live. But with vision, we become magnetic. We become anchored. We move differently. We have intention and that fire lit up inside of us. So let's get practical. Studies show that people who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. Why? Because clarity creates momentum. So imagine that you are a ship in the ocean. Permission is like waiting for the calm seas before you ever leave the harbor. But vision is your North Star. Even in the storms, it keeps you on course. So, for example, when I started my journey into entrepreneurship and self-leadership, no one handed me a certificate that said you're ready. There was a lot of circumstances, which I've definitely shared here on my podcast and online in different spaces, that had me feeling so uncomfortable that I just knew in my heart of hearts that it was time to make a leap for myself. I created a vision and I followed it. So initially this vision was moving to Rome, Italy. And even though I didn't have a plan, let's call Rome, Italy my North Star. Even when I was scared, even when it didn't make sense, even when everyone seemingly around me did not understand what I was doing, I held my vision. And that is what guided me, even though there was, let's say, turbulence around me. And that's the difference between waiting and walking. Vision gives you permission to move. It gives you a reason to create the change that you're seeking. So how do we actually build this kind of clarity within ourselves? Let's get into it. First, I'd love to start off with asking you a powerful question. So think about this. If I didn't care what anyone thought, what would I go all in on? And let it truly land. Because so often our dreams are filtered before we even allow ourselves to dream them. Here are a few practices to help you clarify and strengthen your personal vision. So, one is future scripting. Write a journal entry as if your dream life already exists. Where are you? What do you feel? What is your daily rhythm? This taps into your reticular activating system in the brain, and that's the part of the brain that filters what you notice. It's where you look for evidence in your life. And the more vivid your vision, the more your brain works to try to help you find it. So I'll give you an example back to when I first made the leap into entrepreneurship. Again, this is when I also quit my corporate job and decided to move to Italy to start this journey for myself. There's a lot of big life change and transformation. But when I decided and I bought that ticket and I decided to go all in on my vision, again, really activating that focus on my North Star, I started to see evidence around me. I often would hear the song Volare because I love that song. It would be playing in random shopping malls in Toronto. All of a sudden, I would hear somebody like humming that song on the street. I just remember that song presenting itself in the most wild and crazy moments. It just was a sign for me because it's an Italian song. It reminded me very much of Italy because it's often what you hear street performers playing in the streets. And I just took that as, again, more evidence for myself. So again, when you bring clarity to that vision, your brain is going to start to pick up on those things. I could have very well been walking through the shopping mall, not paying attention to what music was playing, but my brain started to search for evidence that supported my self-confidence and self-esteem when it came to making this leap for myself. So another practice is value mapping. Asking yourself, what matters most to me in this life? Not your partner, not society, not your family, not your past self, you. Because your values are the foundation of a sustainable vision. And when you connect with your values and you're living by your values, you feel a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction for your life. So I'll give you an example of what a value could be. For me, one of my number one values is authenticity. And so for me to authentically bring a desire on my heart, like for example, moving to Italy, or for example, being my own boss, or having a YouTube channel, or, whatever twists and turns, choices, decisions I've made in my life, I'm always connecting with my value, right? Of being authentic to Zoe. What does she feel inspired to share? What feels authentic to her? And that's been a guiding light for me. Another practice is vision first planning. So instead of asking, what should I do today? Ask, what would someone living my dream life do today? Reverse engineer your days from the life that you want, not the life that you're presently tolerating. So I'll give you an example. Again, back in this time in Toronto where I had bought my one-way ticket to Italy, had no idea how it was going to work 3 months out. And I would start to live my dream life. I was really in this space where I was in the year after I'd ended an abusive, toxic relationship. And I was also navigating a court case at the time. And I was really in this place where I was rebuilding a powerful, positive relationship with myself, like really filling my own cup. And I remember every weekend I would do something fun for myself. I didn't have the money, but I loved to go to this luxury shopping mall and walk around, and I would do that. I would do that because it made me feel really good on the inside, because I knew one day I'll be able to come here and I'll be able to spend money. Other things that I did was I would just pick out a really beautiful flower shop, and I would either walk there or take the transit there, and I would make a whole day about me going to buy myself a bouquet of flowers that maybe cost $10 or something. But I would just make these special moments for myself, because someone living my dream life, right, a future version of me who is feeling very abundant, like living in Italy, wanted to be surrounded by the feeling of luxury or treating myself and thinking about, if I was in Italy right now on my free Saturday, what would I want to do? And I would love to go pick up a fresh bouquet of flowers for myself. So ask yourself, what would someone living my dream life do today? And the more that you take action from that place and create that compound effect of change, really seeing yourself as someone who is living your dream life, big shifts happen quickly. So moving on, here's a truth bomb. You don't need permission from your parents, from your past, from your coach, or even your partner. You just need to decide for yourself. So let's dismantle some of the common lies that can, come across our minds. It can keep us in a state of feeling confined or trapped. So, for example, I need more experience. Here's the truth. Experience comes from doing, not waiting. I'm not ready. No one feels ready. Confidence comes after action, not before. And when I was scripting out this episode, what came to me when I was thinking about the story, I'm not ready, was a younger version of myself who spent her summers camping in British Columbia, Canada. And oftentimes where we were camping had a high dive, whether it was a pool or it was into a lake, there would be a high dive. And I remember there was this one high dive that I sat on top of for long enough to I was like sitting, hugging my legs because I climbed all the way up there. I knew that I was going to jump off, but I wasn't ready yet. I actually sunburned myself like in all the areas where my skin was like exposed. And then there was just a clear, where my arms were wrapped around my knees. Anyways, so I stayed up there. I was not ready. And by the time that I actually stood up and decided to jump, I still was not ready. I was still shaking in my boots, even though I was probably just in my water shoes. But you know what I mean here is I didn't feel confident. I felt nervous, but I just got to this point where I had no other choice. I just decided to fling myself off of that high dive. And you know what? After that, I climbed right back up and jumped off so easily the next time because confidence comes after the action, not before. Everyone feels uncomfortable when they're doing something new or they're going into the unknown. And the more that we can normalize that, the easier it becomes for us to create big moves and changes for ourselves. Another story is, what will they think? What will people think of me? The people who judge you aren't paying your bills or living your dream. Let them watch. I remember receiving so much resistance from people when I made my move to Italy. A lot of people doubted me. A lot of people made fun of me about my YouTube channel. Like I remember there was this one night where I was just with some people from high school time, I guess, in my life. And one of these guys started to mimic me. He's like, "Hi friends, like this is my YouTube channel." And then a bunch of people started laughing. And I remember feeling like, oh, that didn't feel very good in the moment. But I knew in my heart of hearts that I was going places. I knew that, in a very short while, I am going to be on a plane to Italy and none of this is going to matter. And the truth is, the more that I chose myself and to support myself in those moments and believe in myself, the faster my self-confidence compounded on the inside. So making bold moves often looks irrational to people who've made peace with playing it safe. Know that, okay? So if no one around you gets it, that's okay. And I just want you to know that I see you and I feel you in this moment. Just know that I can definitely relate to those feelings. What I want you to know is that your vision is sacred, okay? It is yours. That dream or dreams on your heart, they don't need to make sense to anyone but you, but it's important for you to listen. It's again, this message that I share over and over and over again of it's so important for you to honor what is on your heart and walk that out because you were given that beautiful gift. So let me ask you this. What would shift if you stopped waiting and just said yes to yourself? Let that be your breakthrough moment today. Let me know what came through for you if you feel inclined to share with me, whether that's on Instagram or writing a comment on YouTube, something like that. I would love to hear from you. And I want you to know that the truth is, You are the gatekeeper. You hold the pen, you write the next chapter. You don't need permission, you don't need perfection. You need a vision so vivid, so embodied that it pulls you forward even on the hard days. So say yes to that vision today, that one on your heart. And if you are looking for additional support to harness your vision, to actualize that and bring it into reality, there is a link for one-to-one coaching down below, and I would absolutely love to work with you in making your dreams a reality. And I also want to remind you that the Digital Nomad Academy is open for enrollment right now. This is my 6-month business mentoring and mindset coaching program that has an abundance of resources on the inside. It's everything that I've learned about being a digital entrepreneur in the last 10 years. It's a beautiful journey, a very abundant community of people, and you can get $500 off with the code LEAP when you pay in full. So that's LEAP, and that will get you $500 off. The link will be down below, and if there's any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. But if you like this episode, if you feel like it could support somebody, send it their way or share it on social media. I absolutely also love to hear from you, so let me know. Anyways, until next time, trust yourself, choose your vision, and move boldly. You've totally got this.